Hello everyone and welcome back to Crayon Code. Today let's build a nice little download animation, and by the end of this episode you know how to customize and use it for your own projects. Make sure you like and subscribe to never miss an update. So let's dive right in. The markup here is going to be quite simple, as we're just going to have a downloader div, and inside it there is going to be an arrow and a bar. So that's all we need for now, and since I wanted to support a definite and an indefinite mode, let's first start with the indefinite mode. The downloader is going also to have the indefinite class. So now for the CSS code. Let's of course first style the outer downloader class. So let's first set up some variables. For instance, the size, which is going to be, let's make it 5 rems. And there's going to be an inactive color, which is the standard background color, which is just 20% of a white. And an active color, which will be a pure white. So the background color, which will be default there, will be slightly faded, and then we will have animations bringing white on top of it. The bar height will be 6%, bar in the bottom, and there will be a little bit of a space between the bar and the arrow itself, so we set that to 10%. And since I want everything to be square shaped, let's say that the arrow height is going to be 100% minus the bar height and minus the bar arrow spacing. So this way we can ensure that it's always square shaped. Good. Now for the actual layout, we will have this flex container, which will be running in a vertical direction. So it's mode column and flex direction typo here. Very nice. So good. And now let's set the width. No need to set the height, because this one will be calculated automatically. And for the arrow itself, and now let's give it actually some color. So we set the background color to the inactive color. And in order to maintain its height, we will give it a, let's try to work with height here, as it's going to be the arrow height as defined before. Now we should be able to see something. Actually not. Maybe, yeah, here. Made that error. And yeah, okay, maybe word height doesn't work here. Let's try to use padding top. Yeah, very nice. So this is the basic shape of our arrow. And now in order to actually make it look like an arrow, we're going to use the clip path. And I prepared this beforehand. It's basically the values which you need to actually make it an arrow shape. So here it is. So very nice. We already have an arrow. And I want to have some progress bar animation running on top of it. So we are going to put an after element inside with no content. And it's going to be positioned absolute. And yeah, I think we should then add here position relative to it for it to make it actually work. And now this is going to be having the active background color. So let's attach it to the very left and to the very right, so such that its width and spans the entire tag. And now for the bottom, let's start with 0 height, which means that we push the bottom edge to the very top, and of course that we start at the very top edge with the top coordinates, because this is going to be tweened through animations where it is going to have running from bottom to top and again. So that's why we start with 0 height here. And now if it's actually now we're in the case of the indefinite mode, the after element of the arrow is going to have an animation. Yeah, let's let it run for 2 seconds. It's going to be named loading vertical, and let's put it, ease in it out, and it's going to run infinitely often, because yeah, we have an indefinite animation. So now let's set up a few keyframes for the loading vertical animation. It's going to start at 0%, where of course it's always going to be attached to the top and having 0 height, which is lower edges pushed to the very top. And after 30%, this should go after the bracket, and after 30%, let's actually do it that way that have it still attached to the very top and still having 0 height because I want to have a little bit of a delay for that animation, and which is going to repeat itself, so that's why it's part of the animation and not used through animation delay CSS property. And now it's going to run to the bottom, so that's why we are using bottom 0% now. And after 70% of the time, we are still spanning the entire element, which is why top and bottom 0%. And now for 100%, we're pushing now the upper edge completely down, which is the reason why we are going to use now top 100% and bottom 100%. And I think I may have messed something up. Let's see, I suspect it's the background color, because it actually should be running the active color. And yeah, here again a typo, active color should be white. And yeah, now you can already see here that the animation is running through first from top to bottom, and then the top edge is running down to the bottom. So that actually looks quite nice. Good. Now let's do something similar with the bar, but only from left to right, which means that we are going to put a selector for the bar, which is basically the same like the arrow, where we have a relative position, and its width is going to be 100% because we want it to span the entire width, and the padding top will be the bar height because we want it to be 10% high. And since we have defined some spacing in the beginning, let's put the bar arrow spacing here for the margin top, which will most certainly work now. And the background color is also going to be the inactive color in the very beginning. Very nice. And we have a bar here. Very good. So let's also put a after element here, which is also going to have no content, but will be positioned absolute. And see, I'm having a typo here. Its background color will also be the active color and will also be attached to the very top and to the very left for the beginning. So yeah, we have it here. Bottom will be also 0 because we want it to have full height, and of course top will be also 0. So now, and we also have to define an animation now. So let's make it quite similar here, where we put an animation, 2 seconds, and this one will be called loading horizontal, ease in out, and infinitely often. So, and let's also put some keyframes here, very similar actually, where horizontal typo. So we're all again going to start from 0%, where we start at the very left. So right is 100%, so it's pushed to the very left edge. And again, we have a little bit of a delay here. So that's why we're having 30% still the same state. And after 50%, I want it to be at the very right and maintain the state for as long as 20% of the time. So we keep that here, put it down there, and for 100% in the very end of the animation, it's going to be put to the very left, and the right will be 0%. And now we should be able to see something. Yeah, very nice. So you can see it's running first from left to right and then from right to left and repeat itself again. And that's actually all we need for the indefinite state. Cool thing is that it's now customizable, where we can say here in the style that it's going to be, yeah, let's say its size is going to be just 2 rems. And it will adapt its size and always remain proportioned. So this is actually quite nice. Let's have a comparison. So we are going to have now the definite mode here. And the definite mode will be controllable through another variable, which we will be calling percentage. And let's set it to 60%. And of course, now it doesn't really react to it, But let's implement this. All we need in the styling is something actually quite similar. So let's use this one here for the definite state. The arrow will remain its animation, which is why we keep it here. And now for the actual bar, we will make it transition the right property, because whenever it changes, it's cool if it's doing it smoothly. And the right value is basically just 100% minus the percentage, which is going to be defined on the tag itself. And I think I messed something up again. Yeah, it's basically just a simple typo here. And you can see here now that it's remaining at 60%. Yeah, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed creating this nice little download animation. Stay tuned and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.